Welcome, Adrian.
Thank you.
This is the exemplar for grade 12 reflections, and Lynn Elliott of the board, and I am John Terpstra, and this is Adrian Stratsma, ready to give us a synopsis of his reflections after grade 12. Welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, like Mr. Terpstra said, I'm Adrian. I've been at TD since grade 9. I went to Timothy Christian School in Rexdale for my whole elementary school. And I like music, make my own music. I like sports. I've been on multiple teams here: soccer team, hockey team, volleyball team, ultimate team, track team. I like to say that I've been involved at TD. I like the community here. I've met some of my best friends here. And I've enjoyed my time so far. So the first artifact I'm going to be showing is, so this is just a screenshot from one of the segments I made in the Pulse in grade 9. It's called Me and Julio Down by the Schoolyard. I was lucky enough to get into the Pulse. And this is right around the time in my life where I was getting really into video. So it was perfect for me to get into that class because the Pulse is like a very free-flowing class, and it encourages brainstorming and creativity, which is what I needed at that time. And it encourages you to come up with your own creative ideas and pursue them and create them and take what's in your head and put it to the screen. And I think this class is really what ignited my passion for like the creative field and get started in like tech and video and music and graphics, that sort of thing. And I met some of my best friends in this class, and I think I made some good work for where I was at that time. And I think the Pulse was one of my favorite classes in high school, and that's one of the reasons why I decided to be a TA this year for the Pulse, because I feel like I could give the younger generation some tips, and I like to see them grow too. Yeah. And then my second artifact, this is just a chord chart from, it's like the final presentation in guitar class. So I took guitar class in grade 11, and I really like this course because I found it to be very practical, because I always wanted to learn guitar. Like I grew up with my older brother always being like really good guitar, and I always wanted to learn. And it was just like a win-win to have a guitar class at school, so you could do guitar during school instead of after school. And it was really good to have like a really passionate teacher who was like really into the kids, and I was really down to learn. So we kind of worked well, and I was like willing to practice. And it was right around the time where I was like really into like making music and getting started in that, so it really helped me get back into like the whole music theory and the whole music world. And yeah, this is like a good example of practical learning that you can use in your everyday life. And I don't know, it was just a fun course. It was really fun, and I look back on it with fondness. So, and then my third artifact is a journal entry from my first week as a teacher's assistant in grade 11. I was a teacher's assistant for the grade 10 phys ed class, and I think this was my favorite experience in all of high school because it was a really practical way of learning. Because in the back of my head, I always had the idea of being a teacher, and this is just a way to kind of get an inside view on what being a teacher is really like. And I liked working with the kids, and I got some good bonds with some of the kids that I was TAing. And you got to do, like, I was also TAing with one of my best friends, so that was also a bonus. And like you get to do like a bunch of things that teachers do, like you get to take attendance, you get to do marking, and I like marking. It might be weird, but I like marking. You get to like plan lessons. We planned the whole focus day, which was a lot of work, and it was cool to like call like different places and see if we could go there. And you run the class, you engage with the kids, and I found that to be really, I don't know, it was really inspiring to me to see what teachers do. Although I know gym is different from like a lot of different things in school, but I feel like it was still a very good experience for me. And it like forced me to grow in my leadership skills and my presentation skills, like especially the presentation skills, because you have to talk like a lot in front of the kids. Like we would like do the warm-up games like every day, and I recognize that this like helped me kind of get, like I used to be really scared of presenting, but like I feel like doing like a presentation like essentially every day in that semester like really helped me along in that way. So yeah, I look back on that and I remember only fun times and lots of learning. And like there's lots of organization and planning that goes into being a TA, especially in gym class, because you have to keep kids entertained for like 70 minutes, especially on the focus day. It's a whole day of stuff you have to plan for them. So it also develops planning and organizational skills. So yeah, like I said, like I've really enjoyed my time at TD. I really like the community. The teachers, they're really passionate about the kids. And like I said, I met some of my best friends here. And I've been involved. I've been on sports teams, done stuff in assemblies, organized other things. Like it's been good. One thing I would encourage TD to do is just focus on practical learning. I know we're heading in that direction with co-ops because I know that practical learning is what sticks out to kids. I find, and like things that they can use in their day-to-day life is what will stick with them. And I just encourage TD to incorporate even more than they are because I feel like that's where education's going and it's beneficial for kids. So thanks for listening.
Thank you. That was awesome. We have time right now built into the structure that we have to just to ask some questions, maybe to get you to share a little bit more about what you've spoken about, but also about your experience here. I guess I'll ask Lynn if you have anything immediately off the top of your head that you would like to ask.
I do. I enjoyed your presentation, Adrian.
Thank you.
And I see enfolding, engaging, empowering throughout. What was one of the most difficult things during your high school career? Was it a social thing, an academic thing?
Well, I think always. Well, I was concussed like for a long part of the year in grade 9, and like I missed, and that's why it was hard because you going like into high school for the first time, right? So it's hard to be gone for that long. And it was a struggle because that was like when you do like all 4 sciences in one semester, right? So it was like hard to do that. But I mean, there's also always like the social thing in high school, like the different groups, and like that's always tricky to navigate. But I don't think it's like super bad here. Like I think it's manageable. And like I don't know, science was always a struggle for me. Like I mean, like the teachers are great. Like Mrs. Templeton's like amazing, but like she can even convince me to like take science in grade 11. But that is different for everyone. But I would say that that's like the academic struggle for me, I would say. And French, but I think that's a given. Yeah.
Thanks.
You mentioned toward the end probably a necessary push for our school as we continue to grow is probably more toward the practical. What role did mentorship in grade 11? What role did that program play in your time here?
I think it's a good program. It just depends where you go. Like for me, like I learned about audio engineering, which is like good for me, obviously. But some kids don't get what they want, and like, but I feel like if you get the right placements and like you find something that you want to do, and you have someone who can like teach you about it, then it's like it'll be really good. And I feel like that's like kind of like co-op. It's just longer, right? So I think practical is the way to go, and mentorship's like a good way to get kids going on that thinking of like what they want to do, and they get hands-on experience doing it.
I've had the pleasure of having you in my homeroom since day one, and remember going through that stuff in grade 9 with your concussion and just being away for so long, and trying to come back from that and trying to pick up where you left off. And I think you did that admirably well, academically, socially, and in all ways. But I think over the years, just watching you as a student in the school, part of my concern is to watch you be involved in so many things. Like you mentioned, the sports at the beginning. It's a long laundry list of pretty much everything we offer.
Yeah.
And you've been a leader, and just from my perspective in the hockey program, and that's not even what you would call a varsity sport here. When it comes to classwork and it comes to the necessary courses you have to take, and then the electives and doing the pulse and getting involved in TA, did you feel at TD sometimes that you were stressed because you were spread out over so many things, or have you had time in your high school experience to really focus and be able to say, this is what I want to hone in on and this is what I want to master before I leave?
Yeah, I think this year is like the year I've focused the most on schoolwork, because I remember in grade 10, like in that spring time in the year, like I was on the ultimate team, the track team, and the soccer team. Like that, we got like very busy, and that was the year I went to OFSA for track, so it was super busy, and there's practices for soccer every week in ultimate, so that was like the most stressful time. But I mean, you got to pick your battles, I guess. Like I wanted to do sports, so like you make it work, and like I wasn't working then, and like I feel like grade 10, 11 is like the 2 years where you really get to get involved the most, and I took advantage of that. Even if it comes with a little stress, I feel like we all get through it. But I did feel a little stretched, but I see now that I have the opportunity to focus on school a bit more now in grade 12 because you have spare. You get to work on homework, get like less homework at home. For me, that's my goal. So I can do other things at home and like have time after school to do sports without being stressed about it. So, yeah.
How important and how effective have you been in developing time management through your years here?
I think I've become pretty good at it because, yeah, like grade 10 was really busy, and I still got like good grades in that last semester in grade 10. And like I have my other interests on the side. Like I was working last year. I have to fit in shifts there and on sports teams. Then I have my own like music, which I work like really hard on, like every day after school. And then even like going to the gym here, like after school, is also another thing I want to fit in. So I think time management is like essential for young people, especially going to university. Like that's like the biggest thing. And like high school is a great place to develop it. I would argue that if you're involved in a lot of things, then it kind of forces you to develop those skills. And I feel like that's what happened to me. So, yeah, I would say I developed a lot in that area.
Cool.
And how about your faith life? What part of TD Christian has impacted your faith life most? Is it a Bible class? Is it interaction with students, interaction with teachers? Is it...
Well, like I said in my presentation, like I met some of my best friends here, right? And I never thought of working at a camp. But then I met a friend here, and he was really into camp. And then he like told me and another friend to come to the camp, and I think that changed like that aspect of my life for the better because I never thought of it. And then he was like, "It's really fun." Like so, I went for 2 summers. I might go for this summer, I don't know, but that was like a huge part of my life. And like I met him here, and he introduced me to that community. So I feel like it's the connections you make here that also really benefit that, and also like the teachers and of course. So.
I enjoyed just listening to you speak about your experience here. The artifacts were fantastic. We've seen you develop leadership skills here. You know, from playing music at assemblies to, you know, being a TA for junior students is incredible. Do you have anything else that you would like to add or
I think
ask?
that's it. Yeah, no, I really enjoyed your presentation. I feel like I got to know you.
Yeah, I have the same feeling. Even though I've taught you, I got a deeper sense of I think of your experience here at high school. Thank you for this.
Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate that. Before you go today, we would like to have just an opportunity to pray with you, to be thankful for the things that you've done, but also to wish you all the best and God's blessing in the future. And pray for a second. Father, we thank you for this day.